Alright guys, welcome to Take On Music News. Today I'm joined by singer-songwriter Ashley Palmer. How's it going, mate?
I'm alright, man. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, very well. So how did you first get into music and what made you pick up the guitar and start learning?
First gig I ever went to was Stereophonics in 2008 in Newcastle.
Yeah.
Cortinas was supporting, and it was that gig. I've never seen a gig before, and just can remember looking at Kelly Jones at the end of it and looking at my mum and going, I want to do that. And started picked the guitar up the next day, and I've never put it down since. So.
You're Manchester born and bred, and obviously the heavies inspired by music. What sort of you mentioned Kelly Jones. What other sort of artist inspired you to go on to become an artist?
I was originally born in Cumbria, but I've lived in Manchester for ages. But it's all apart from Stereophonics, and I quite like some Irish music like the Pogues and the Dubliners and stuff like that. It's mainly bands from Manchester. So when it comes to like wanting to learn to play guitar, obviously the first thing most people go to is Oasis because the songs are quite easy. And then through kind of that, you kind of look at Noel Gallagher's Mates basically, and all the bands they were inspired by, and you end up finding Joy Division and the Smiths and New Order and Stone Roses and stuff.
Fantastic. Well, you actually started your career fronting a couple of bands. Why didn't it work out, and what decided to then go solo?
Because I'm a fucking nightmare to work with, I think is the answer most people would give you. People just didn't want to do it anymore. No, it's just, I went through a few bands in the space of a couple of years, and it's hard to get, anybody who's ever tried to start a band knows it's hard to get everybody in one place and find people who want to do it for years and stuff. It just doesn't tend to happen. And basically I got sick of having to start again. Every time a band splits up, you've got to go back to square one. So I thought if I just do things under my name like I am now, like the minute I play with the loop pedal, if I get a band behind me one day, as long as I still go under my name, and then if they fall away again, I can carry on. I don't have to restart the whole brand. I think that's what was doing my head in.
Yeah,
that
keep
was what
going.
made me go solo.
When you write your songs, what's like the song process you go through, and how they come about when you're writing? It's the lyrics first or the music?
It's a weird one. It's one of those things I could never. Like, I was talking to a mate the other day about this. Like anyone with, I think anyone with 10 fingers can learn to play a guitar, and most people can probably learn to sing. But writing songs, I don't know where that comes from. They just kind of appear in front of you, and I can't explain it. And I've seen other songwriters say the same thing. You can not write something for 12 months and then write an album in a week. It's really weird. But for me, it tends to be like a lyric, a line. I'll think of like The Only Mod in Manchester. I was walking into town one day and came up with that, and by the time I got back to my flat, I'd written the song in my head.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And then just put music to it. But sometimes it's that, and other times if you're learning another song or playing another song and come like a variation of that chord sequence or something, then you can come up with a melody to it. It comes like that. But where they come from, I couldn't even begin to explain that to anyone. It kind of freaks me out a little bit. So they just appear in front of you, and then like a week later you think, oh, that's what I was on about. I don't know where.
You've got a tune behind you. When in the early days, you started uploading your music to SoundCloud and that, which then received like 100,000 streams and plays, which then gave you confidence to go into an upload to like Spotify, Apple Music. How does that feel to finally get that confidence and get your music out there onto a bigger platform?
Those first things I uploaded to SoundCloud were recorded on my mum's iPhone 4 in my bedroom when I was only just learning to play guitar, and most of them have got more plays than the stuff I record professionally now. It's taking the fucking piss. But
that money you spend as well.
It's like, but SoundCloud just, at the time, Spotify didn't exist. It makes me sound old, but it didn't, it didn't exist. It wasn't a thing. Streaming wasn't a thing. I had CDs. People have still got CDs that I forgot I ever recorded. Like, it's because they've just disappeared. But yes, I can remember getting on Spotify for the first time and thinking, oh, this is it, I've made it now. And in reality, all I'd done was uploaded it myself. It wasn't like an achievement. But yeah, it is cool that, you know, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Streaming platforms, because everybody, you know, you're on there with all the bands that you love, and it's quite a weird feeling when you make a playlist of songs at a party or something, or at work, and your song comes on, and people don't even realise it's you. And it's a bit, and it. Sometimes, like when you go, Dave Sweetmore, for example, played a Made You Toast in his DJ set at a festival I was at last year, and it was like,
and
you can see people who don't even know who I am dancing to this song, and I'm like, this is quite cool. But obviously on the flip side of that, we all get, you know, no money from it, do we? It's completely obliterated the money side of the industry.
Well, you've actually gained support now from the likes of BBC Introducing and playing your songs on air. How does that feel to get your tunes on there and being played out to a wider audience?
When I got on BBC Introducing, I wasn't, this is quite a few years ago now, That was a massive deal. Like, I can remember everybody where I lived at the time was talking about that, and it was weird because I've always been like I was quite new. I was only about 19 at the time, and I don't think anybody really knew who I was. And then, or I was always in the shadow of bands that were more experienced and better than me. And then suddenly I got on that, and loads of people went, "Oh, he must be all right then if he's getting played on that." But yeah, it was a big deal then. I got asked to go in and do a live session for them, but by that time I'd started a new thing and was in a new band and stuff, so I didn't end up doing it, which is a shame. But yeah, I got played, a couple of songs got played on it, I think, over a period of a few months.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was chuffed to bits with that.
When you get played on radio, is it like an occasion to you get your mates round your gaff and a few beers?
Not so much now.
Yeah.
At the time, when you get your first ones, it's the most exciting thing ever, but...
A bit of party to celebrate.
Now it's like...
Oh.
Yeah, again, there's some good ones, like you get emails or messages on Facebook, like there's a guy in Germany plays my songs on his radio station. I'm like, how's that got there?
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
How it travels.
That's quite cool, and obviously if you get on a big one, like BBC introduced it, it's a big deal, but you get... I think it's like anything you do, isn't it? You become used to it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's a great achievement, and speak of achievements, 2018 was a big year for you, as your song, The Only One in Manchester, also won Best Male Artist that year as well. How did that feel to win? And
that was a good year. I did a little tour that December as well. That ended on the 23rd of December of me sleeping in a train station in Sheffield. That was how my tour ended. But
went well then.
Yeah, interesting night. But yeah, getting that award, I just seemed to go through a run of... It was after A66, my old band split up, and I didn't want to do anything for ages, and then I came back with a new manager and did that EP and got a tour together, and it won 2 awards, and it went really well.
Fantastic. Since then, on that year, you went on to support some great gigs, like for Chris Hell from Seahorses, Mark Morrissey from Blue Tones, Nigel Clark from Dodgy, Tom Hingley from Inspired Carpets, and Gaz Coons from Supergrass. Supporting them, how great was it for them gigs to go ahead and get that that experience of playing to live?
Yeah, like any gig you do, you prepare for it properly, you get excited about it.
Yeah. And
then sometimes you turn up and you play to the bar staff, and it's always a bit of a, oh, right then. But anytime you get on with somebody like that, like Chris Elm, I've played with a couple of times, and I've bumped into him at a few various things he's been playing and stuff, and he's one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah, I've seen a few times, he's a top man, yeah.
He's sat, me and my mate who's been coming to all my gigs since day one, came to see me play a gig he was on as well, and he dedicated a song to her for me, which was quite a big deal.
Yeah, so quite cool, yeah.
He's brilliant like that, but yeah, playing those gigs with people that are a bit more people who are known, that's how you gain your biggest popularity, isn't it? To get a support slot on a tour with a big band.
That's how people find new music.
That's what I want. That's my main aim at the minute.
Yeah, you actually played at the O2 Ritz in Manchester, and Bez Mondays came on dancing around you. Just talk us through how that happened and what was going through your mind when that happened.
That was when I was at uni, and they had an end of term gig on that was being hosted at the Ritz, and everyone was auditioning to play it and stuff. And we hadn't, for whatever reason. My band I was in at the time hadn't bothered with that one, and I think it's because it was covers. Yeah. But then I got this email saying basically the house band, Bez was hosting it, he was a compere, and like the house band are going to do a Happy Mondays song. Do you want to do it? And the reason I got asked, even though I was in first year, was because nobody else at that uni, everybody fucking hated the Manchester scene. Any mention of Oasis or anything, they all just fucking lost it. So I didn't expect that. But so I think I was the only person in the whole college who they thought he'll want to do it. So I sang 24-hour Party People in one of the most surreal things I've ever done. Like when he's dancing next to you, it's actually quite distracting. But it was cool. It was a brilliant night. It's one. I wish there was some footage of it. It got filmed, and I don't know what happened to the footage. I've never seen it since. But
so if you got the footage,
if you know where that is, that would be very useful to me right now, because nobody believes it ever happened.
Being from Manchester, there's loads of classic venues around the city. What's like your favourite ones that you've played?
Ruby Lounge was where we did the first ever E66 gig, and so that's not around anymore. So it's brilliant nights in there, going to see tribute bands and stuff. So that was a good one. Gorilla, played Factory, which is obviously an iconic venue.
Massive.
The Ritz is obviously a massive one. But like in Manchester, like Night and Day as well. There's just everywhere you play, there's some sort of history behind it.
There's a long list of quality venues. What would be the dream venue for you to play? Looking at being ambitious.
Celtic Park would be a good one. But, or Castlefield Bowl. Like that. And Newcastle Arena, because that's where I first saw Stereophonics. That would be quite a moment to go back to where I where I got the idea to be a musician at all.
Despite all your success, it's not always been that easy for you. In 2019, it all started to go wrong. Just tell us a bit about what happened and why that was, if you don't mind.
I just stopped enjoying it, and not to sound like I'm slagging the uni I went off to or anything, but I think for me going to uni and doing music was a mistake because it turned it into a job, and you had to tick all these boxes, and well, you didn't have to, but that's kind of what they're pushing you into doing, and you've got to do this and you can't say that and you can't have that haircut and wear sunglasses because the 90s is over and Oasis aren't cool anymore. You can't wear your black and yellow Fred Perry because somebody's decided it's race. It's all this kind of thing, and I'm just like, I just want to play my songs and sing and play guitar.
That's what it's all about.
I didn't really want all this. It had become too much, and I think it spoiled it. So kind of what I'm trying to do now is go back to just play the guitar and sing and play the songs about me to my mates who are usually featured in them, and that be what it's about, because I think you're never going to have any controversial characters like Eminem or Shane McGowan or Liam Gallagher, because they all just get shot down in flames by this system that this manufactured thing that everybody comes through now, seemingly. So I think that'll just create a really boring landscape for music eventually. So I think it's better to just go back to the roots of it and just do it because you enjoy it, and don't worry about posting 400 times on social media every day and stuff like that, because that takes it away from just singing and playing guitar. And so that's what I'm going for, and it must work because you've got like Jerry Cinnamon completely did it on his own and it's become huge. So I think there is still a market for it, which people lead you to believe there isn't a market for guitar music. There is. It's massive. It's just you can go out in Manchester any night of the week and you'll have a choice about 6 or 7 gigs to go to of guitar bands. So it is still there and it is possible to do it. It's just people feel like you've got to go through this system where you have to be streamlined into something, and that's what pop music's about. I want to get away from that and get back to just playing my songs that I like to my mates that are about my life, and if people like that and it takes off, then great. If not, just enjoy that.
Exactly, fantastic. You got slagged off quite a bit, and half the comments came your way. How did that feel to get that hate after working on this project for so long?
I think it's not even anything to do with my music. It's people on the internet get absolutely fucking outraged on the spot at the slightest little deviation from their own opinion. And I don't even have any particularly outlandish or opinions, but I do like winding people up, especially when I was a few years ago. I just used to put stuff because you just put one thing and it would explode.
Get a little bite.
And it was like, fucking hell, man. But then it got a bit much. Like there was one I put and it all kicked off, and my mum commented on it, and there's people hurling abuse at my mum in the comment section. So I was like, right, this is kind of one of the reasons I just packed it in. I was like, I don't want this shit. I just want to play my songs and be left alone. But it got to a point where everything I did, people were kicking off about it, from like wearing sunglasses, what for some reason annoyed people. I had my hair cut like Liam Gallagher, for some reason that annoyed people. It was like, just leave me alone. If you don't like me, just fuck off. Like, nobody's under any obligation to get on with me. But half of what I was saying was just to wind people up. I don't believe most of it. It was just funny. But
it's just jealousy, mate. People trying to be in your shoes on stage and all that.
I grew up a bit, and obviously now I don't put shit like that. But at the time, I was the front man of a band, and I was just like, fuck you, like,
that's it. You don't get the old rock and roll attitude out of this front man.
I've had to calm down a bit because it was getting a bit much.
Fantastic. However, you are back with a new manager, a new sound. What made you come back, and how hard was it to pick yourself back up to then go again?
It is hard because, to be honest, at no point did I think, right, I've got to go back to music now. It was, people wouldn't fucking leave me alone until I did. You've got one extreme, people despise me and don't want me to have any sort of voice at all. And then on the other side of it, you've got people who won't let me stop, which is nice. It is. It's like people are like, but you can't not gig. Like, obviously we had lockdown and I did a lot of live streams over lockdown, and people I've never met in my life before then come to my gigs now and they're like, you got me through lockdown listening to you play, and I was like, so there's no better feeling in the world than that. And it's now meant that when people come to my gigs, they know all the words to my songs, which is something that I've never had. Been going 9 years, and that's never happened. You get like an odd person, but now you can get even if it's just 10 people,
yeah,
they know all the words.
lyrics.
Or you get stopped in nightclubs about that far, and like, oh, you're that guy that wrote Only Mod in Manchester. It's like, yeah, how the fuck do you know that? I've never met you in my life.
It's good about a bit, fantastic. You actually released your latest single, I think a comeback single called The Lonely Road. Just
That's I Made You Toast.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Lonely Road's not out yet.
Oh. Well, talk about the your debut comeback single then.
Yeah.
Mind.
I Made You Toast. That was, again, it was one of those things. I just like, if I'm going to come back, everybody associates me with this Britpop indie rock thing. So I'm going to do something completely different. So I'm going to write an Irish folk song. Basically, I nicked the chords from the Irish Rover and changed the words.
Fantastic.
But when I went to record it, I literally wanted it with like mandolins and everything on it. It's like a proper classic Irish sounding song. But then I went to record it with Jacob. He's the frontman of Dakota Avenue.
Yeah.
You know them. Went to record it with him, and he just kind of went, right, so you got this song. And he's a brilliant producer. In that he doesn't just. Some producers, you go in and you tell them what they want, and they create exactly that. Jacob doesn't do that. He kind of takes it apart and goes, right, these bits are good, and I'm going to change this. And he's fucking mint at that. He did that with that song. He basically like, right, well, what if you take the Irish folk thing, but you mix it with indie guitars, and then you stick a Jerry Cinnamon drum beat behind it, and I'm like, alright, then go on. And then he sent me it back, and I was like, fucking hell.
That's class.
Yeah. Everybody I sent it to was like before it came out, was like, where's that come from? And I was like, to be honest, most of it was Jacob. But that song's, no, I've never had a song that's been as popular as that. People. Fantastic. I think, like I say, it got played by Dave Sweetmore, and you could see people he never knew or was in their lives dancing to it. So I think that's always a good sign.
Absolutely, yeah.
I end every gig with it. Put it that way.
It's good old massive uproar and all that. Fantastic. So what's next to come then? Obviously, we mentioned The Lonely Road is going to be the next single, but is it going to be like a debut EP to come, or even a debut album? It's
like everything in the past 12 months. We've been having this conversation about The Lonely Road. That song's half finished. Again, me and Jacob are working on it. It's been half finished since sometime last spring, I think. We never got the chance to finish anything, but obviously I bumped into you a couple of weeks ago in a studio, recorded a live session, kind of a stripped back sort of jangly electric guitar thing just on my own. That's probably going to get released as like a live EP probably in like a month. Just something, I couldn't really get a band together or do anything with Jacob, so that opportunity came up, so I was like, it was just something to put out. But there is 2 new songs on it. One everybody kind of seems to be liking at the minute, called A Part of My Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And a cover of Local Boy in the Photograph by Stereophonics, which is the song that made me want to be a musician. So I put that in there. So then we'll probably release that, and it was all filmed and a big photo shoot and stuff. So that'll put me on for a couple of months now until I can get back in the studio with Jacob, and then after that I've got at least 2 years worth of songs planned.
Top stuff. Look forward to that. Yeah. So that's it then. So he's been Ashley Palmer. I've been Jordan.
Cheers.
Keep it stay cool and see you soon. Cheers.
Cheers.